I'm sure every one of you has heard something about addiction. Maybe some of you are struggling with some form of addiction. There could be addiction to alcohol, there could be addiction to drugs, there could be addiction to tobacco, there can be addiction to food. I mean, they're all different kinds of addictions. Now, there's one kind of addiction that is very, very prevalent. It's prevalent in most everybody, and they're not even aware of it. And that addiction is the addiction to thinking, specifically overthinking. We all think all the time. Our minds are always active. And especially if you live in a society like the United States or really any modern Western society, US, Europe, whatever, I mean, it's part of our culture. It's frenetic. We always think we have to be doing something. There has to be a meaning. We have to ascribe a meaning to everything. Okay. And this addiction to thinking is very, very detrimental to a trader. In fact, it can be fatal. Okay. And we see it manifest, and I'm sure many of you have felt it, even though you probably were not even aware that the thinking is the cause of your stress and anxiety. Take, for example, a situation right now where the market is kind of static. I mean, if you look at stocks, not doing very much. If you look at gold, we have positions on in both, maybe not doing very much. And there's a tendency when things get to be like that to overthink the situation, to try to ascribe some meaning to every little wiggle, and then try to project out like what's going to happen tomorrow. When is this going to break out? Right? Instead of just being very calm and focused and in the moment. A lot of Eastern philosophies, if you have studied any Eastern philosophies like Buddhism or Taoism or Zen or anything like that, that whole aspect of their philosophy, that in the moment, that is like a core tenet. Okay, they practice that. That is something that is so valuable if you can apply that same behavior to your trading, to be in the moment, to understand that the natural state of markets is an equilibrium state. Okay? Markets adjust. I mean, at the very basic in economics, we all know it's supply and demand, right? And the price will arrive at some equilibrium price based on supply and demand. Then you have maybe some stimulus that comes along, some event, some change in the fundamentals that might alter that equilibrium state, and then the prices move one direction or another. But that's the minority of the time. So it's really, really important to work on this idea of being in the moment. When you have a situation like this now, where maybe you have positions on and they're slightly underwater, or maybe they're big time underwater, I don't know. Or maybe you have a profit, but it's not at your objective and you're getting impatient. That's the thing. If you're feeling this need for action, if you're saying what's going to happen tomorrow or when is this going to break out, that is a sign of impatience and the fact that you are not in the moment. You really have to embrace these periods. If you could train yourself to handle periods like that, like this, and really be in the moment and block out all this extraneous stuff that has no meaning and block out the overactivity of your own mind. You put yourself in this state. Okay, nobody else puts you in this state. You put yourself in this state. The need, again, we come back to this, the need for action. Even a term like a breakout, right? I didn't even like that. That's another one of these things like cut your losses short and let your profits run. It's another one of these false little, sound bites or cutesy little phrases that, people think it's what will help them make money. It's not. There's no such thing as a breakout. I mean, you know, how many times, I mean, in my past history as a trader, I've drawn triangles, I've drawn, the trend lines with consolidation patterns and all this. Oh, here's a breakout. And guess what? It goes right back into where it was. And the reason that happens is because we ascribe a meaning to something that is basically meaningless. Be in the moment. Like it doesn't matter what's going on with the market. You let it do what it has to do. But you have to be okay. You have to be relaxed. You should not be overthinking. And you should understand that you have the skills and the ability that no matter what happens, you are in control of your own results, your own destiny. Okay. And many times, or all the time, I should say, you have no control over the market. Just that simple understanding that there is nothing you can do. So to make yourself crazy, to kind of gin up all this emotion in yourself, this anxiety, this stress, this is why people lose. Okay, I tell you that what we do is to trade against that emotion. Look, in my report, MMT Trader, check it out, the one this week. I like to clip out headlines. There's a page I always have headlines that I clip out, and from last week I clipped out a headline that says the market is an ugly mess. Okay, I forget the exact line that it was, but basically the headline was portraying or giving the impression of sheer frustration. Like whoever wrote that, whoever wrote the article, whoever wrote the headline, like they were really, really upset that the market was not going in one way or another. The whole entire tone of it was almost childish, I thought, very immature, childlike, kind of like I wanna play and nobody wants to play with me, you know. This, that's exactly what you want to trade against. I mean, when you see emotion displayed like that, so childish and immature and really, really lacking in any sort of savvy or sophistication, that's just money right in your pocket if you know how to take advantage of that. And there's so much of that out there. I've pointed it out to you many, many times. So the important takeaway here is really to block out um, excessive thinking, overthinking. Have your mind focused, have it clear, empty it out, be in the moment. Whatever happens, be in the moment. Understand that you have no control over the market. You only have control over yourself. But that's all you need. That's all you need. That will assure the outcomes that you are looking for. And those outcomes are profitable trades. I'm telling you. But all the time I say you got to kind of take a reading of your own emotional state. I gave the example of a doctor making the rounds in the hospital, going around checking on his patients, heart rate, blood pressure, temperature, all that stuff. You got to do that to yourself. If you're now feeling like, when the heck is this thing going to move? When is it going to break out? Then that is a very, very clear sign that you are overthinking and you are not in the moment. And now, you have something you need to do, which is to practice being in the moment and blocking out excessive thought, because the excessive thought is just going to make you anxious. It's going to give you stress. It's going to create unwanted emotion in you for no reason. Remember, when you think certain things, that generates a real physical reaction in your body, even if there's nothing there. If you scare yourself based on nothing, your body, I mean, you're still pumping adrenaline and your hypothalamus gland and all that shit is working, man, and it's for no reason. So you're generating that yourself. So really, man, I don't know, stare at a candle or something, or stare at the market, do something else, go out, be aware of your senses. There's a lot of ways to do it, but just be conscious of that. You got to be in the moment. Be in the moment always, no matter what happens, and don't generate fictitious fear that does not exist. Don't project like, what if this happens, right? I did that thing about the what ifs. It all ties in. There should be no what ifs. What ifs is a projection. You don't know. Nobody knows. Okay, so there's no reason to even try to, put that in your head, because then that triggers off emotion, that triggers off a physical state in your body, which is counterproductive to what you're trying to do. Focus, man. It's like surfing. Anyone who has ever surfing is like the the most zen activity. I'm not a good surfer. I surf, but I mean, it's you and the ocean and that wave and just the right balance and subtle movements could shift you around on that wave, and it's just, it's a great thing. But be in the moment. All right? Bye.